Danny, Colorado Springs this weekend. They're the defending champs. You guys won the Players' Shield last year. It's an interesting matchup. I know you're probably not thinking about last year very much, but comes to mind to me that it's an interesting matchup from that perspective. Any thoughts on what that means to have the Players' Shield take on the defending champs?
Yeah, I think it's a good storyline for sure. But for us, again, at the end of the day, it's an opponent that we want to try to go take 3 points off of. We know the July 4th game there, it's always a sold-out crowd. It's an unbelievable atmosphere. So we know it's going to be a tough test there at altitude. They obviously have a lot of quality, as you said, being the defending champions. But we are, put a big emphasis on where we needed to improve over the course of this month and a half, where we've had a lot of games, not a lot of time to really work on the things that we need to get better at. But we know that, again, this is an opportunity for us to take 3 points from a good team and one that we're hoping we can do.
Any questions, guys?
Do you watch some film when you guys played them last year, and if so, would any of that carry over into this matchup?
Watched a little bit of. We played them in preseason this year. Watched a little bit of that because year after year, you never know. So I haven't looked back at last year's game, but we certainly done a lot of work from a video perspective on what we think we're going to see. We feel good about the preparation up until this point, but no, I haven't looked back at last year's game. Just this year's preseason game.
What stands out about that preseason game?
It was a physical game for sure. It didn't seem like a preseason game. Two teams that were competing, that wanted to win, tackles flying everywhere. I'm expecting it to be pretty similar here on Friday night for sure.
And you've had to do a fair amount of mixing and matching of lineups,
Yeah.
Especially in recent weeks. How often do those guys get to work or play or scrimmage with each other before matches, or
Yeah.
sometimes is it the first time in the match?
Yeah, when it's a normal week, they get plenty of time to do that. Even when it's not a normal week, we try to make sure we're giving them reps with one another, just to put them in the best position possible on the weekend. But it's difficult. Like I said, I look, one of our non-negotiables is no excuses. But I think anybody that looks at the schedule that we've had, I think it's in the last 50 days we're on the road 20. We played 10 games. We traveled across the country in that, which is what makes me feel even more proud about the group and what we've done. Because I would venture to say there's not another team that had to go through the type of schedule that we've had to go through in the summer especially. And so we try to give those guys as much reps as we can. And I think you can see they've done an excellent job. I thought on the weekend, when you look at North Carolina, you play a 16-year-old next to a guy that's in his first year as a pro with the captain on the back line. Those three haven't got a lot of reps together, but it was seamless. And it's because of the leadership that we have in the back. It's because, for me, the work that we do in the video room. And it looked like a group that had trained together quite a bit, and that's something that we were really, really proud of, and something for them to build on. I mentioned it after the game, but Josh has been immense. He's been excellent. Arturo goes out with an injury, and we talk about it all the time. It's next man up, and he's come in, and he's been phenomenal his last 2 games. And so the hope now for Josh is that he can continue to build on it, which I'm confident that he will. And then Arturo to get healthy, and then the competing continues on. So that's for me, the quality of this club and this organization, the players that we have, is the depth that we have. You bring a player in like Josh, and he's coming in and he's playing an important role, and he needs to continue to put his head down and work at the level that he has, because he'll continue to put together performances like that.
I was going to ask you about Josh.
Yeah.
Can you comment just kind of on the progression he's made? Has it been just kind of steady as the season's gone on, or has he made a leap somewhere?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you worry about with a player that's coming in from college is the length of the season. It's very different, right? But you saw last year Jensen Wilson's able to do it, and that comes down to multiple things. But a big thing for me is their mindset. Their ability to come in to want to learn, to want to get better every single day, and to take in the information, nothing personal, only from a perspective of this. The players and the staff are speaking to me about these things because it's going to make me better. That's why the character piece of who we bring in becomes really, really important. And so Josh has come in. There's times he's not in the 18. There's times he's in the 18. There's times he's starting. And no matter what is thrown at him, he's taking it in stride, and he's being a true professional. And it's preparing him when he does get those opportunities to be in the best position possible. And so can't speak highly enough about him because, again, he's performing at a high level. He's an unbelievable character from a culture perspective, and he's been patient. He's been patient, and he's taken the opportunity, and that's something that he should be proud of.
Coach, were there any deer in the headlights moments for Brandon the other night, or did he handle things as you kind of thought he would?
Yeah, he is. He's a kid that is calm for sure, a very calm individual. I think it's been very beneficial for him to be in this environment. The amount of times he has, we took him to preseason. He was able to play a game and spend some time with us there. And so, especially with young players, you want to put them in positions for them that you believe can put them in a position to be successful. And he showed up on the game day like he does to training every day, calm, cool, and collected. Same again today. And it was a big moment for him, but he handled it the way we expected he would handle it.
Piggybacking off that just a little bit, what makes him different than any other 16-year-old? What stands out really about him in that aspect?
Yeah, I think a couple things. One, I think a lot of 16-year-olds would feel a lot of pressure in that moment. Not that I'm sure he had butterflies, but it's different. There's difference between feeling an immense amount of pressure that almost puts you in a position where you can't perform at the level that you're capable of, and then butterflies, nerves, and he's the type of kid that every time he's out here with us, as I said, he's calm. He's not the most vocal, but he's a good human being who's got good parents who have prepared him for moments like this. So when you look at his athleticism, he's already for sure at the level of the first team players, and then it's about reading the game and tactics, and that's our job. Our job is to make sure that we're preparing him for that. But he has an open mind. He comes in to want to learn, and I'm really excited about his future here and his ceiling.
Do you see him like pairing up with a specific individual, like an older guy, like asking him certain questions like that, or do you not see that as much, like with him them specific?
Yeah, I think every one of our veterans, and I could put Josh in this category, not from a veteran perspective, but I spoke to Josh before the game about making sure you have his back for 90 minutes, and he did that. He did an amazing job of having Brandon's back, and Brandon did an amazing job as well. But I think there's not one individual. I think a lot of them put their arm around him, make sure that he's clear tactically on what we want, and that they're there for him both on and off the field in any capacity. I think that's why young players, when they come to Louisville City, they're put in a position to hopefully get the progression that they're looking for in their career. And the players play a massive role in that, and we have always here had veterans that want to push these young kids to be at their best, but at the same time hold them accountable as they do a guy that is also 28, 29 years old. It doesn't matter that they're 16. It's trying to put them in the best position possible to progress, and I think in this environment, Brandon's going to continue to do that.
You've played a lot of soccer over the past few weeks. Can you speak to any injuries or just general fitness concerns that you're having to manage?
I think I asked you this a few weeks ago, but do you have a pen? Because it's a long list. So, yeah, it's not going to get shorter until after this weekend. So, Arturo is going to be out. Zach is obviously out. Brian is out. Tosh is out. Let's see. Evan is questionable. And then higher up the field, we're getting a little healthier at the moment. So. No, I'm hoping that after this game, the players will have a little bit of a mental health break before the Leganes game, but I can still manage bodies going into the Leganes game to not put players in a position where they're not ready for. And I'm hoping by the following week, we're feeling pretty good about where we are. Knock on wood. So we'll see. Good.
Thanks,
guys.
Appreciate you.